A very good evening to everyone, and thank you so much for joining today's webinar. Today we have with us Mr. Abhishek Chakravarti. He is a faculty at the Daksha Fellowship. Of course, Abhishek is going to talk much in detail about the Daksha Fellowship and how it can actually be of so much help to everyone who's present with us today. But before we do that, I would just like to introduce Abhishek to the audience today. He's done his BA and his LLM from NLU Guwahati in 2017 and 2018. And he had previously worked as a research associate at the Center for Policy Research in New Delhi. His primary research topics were water laws and policies in India. Also, he is an indigenous rights activist and has been part of several people's movements in Northeast India. He's also worked as a project manager for the European Union on a sustainable development project called EU Switch Asia, where he helped in setting up over 350 micro and medium sustainable community enterprises in Northeast India. He's a regular columnist for the print Down to Earth, which I think is a CPR initiative, the Wire Science, Live Law, South Asian Voices, and Jurist. So, first of all, Abhishek, thank you so much for being with us today. Because it's a relatively small group today, I'm sure that we'll be able to give more personal attention to everyone's queries and questions. However, with that being said, anyone who has any kind of questions, you may want to wait till the end of Abhishek's presentation. First, Abhishek is just going to give a presentation to brief you on all the topics which he's going to cover, and then you can shoot your questions. One small announcement before I hand over this to Abhishek is that we have a very special surprise for all of us who are present today. But we are only going to release that surprise at the end of this webinar. So we want you to stay till the end. So please make sure that you stay with us till the end and actually get the benefit of the surprise which we have for you today. So that's about it from my side. Now I'm going to hand it over to Abhishek.
Thank you so much, Anand, and for the introduction. I'll just start off with the presentation. Is the presentation visible to all?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's visible.
Okay, great. So, a very good evening to everyone who has come over to attend this session, especially on a Saturday evening. I'm sure a lot of you had different programs and parties and something and which you missed. But I assure you that you'll make the most of this 1 hour, which we are going to discuss about Daksha Fellowship. So, this is the first fellowship for lawyers in India. We started a year back, and when we started, we were quite anxious that uh, this is an entirely new thing. How will we, structure it? How will we run it? What will be the response of the students? But when we began last year, we saw that uh, across India, a lot of students were interested. We had hundreds of applications. We have a whole rigorous application process wherein you have to go through application. There is an online test. You have to write essays, and there's personal interviews. And there were hundreds of applicants, a lot of people interested, and not only youngsters right out of law school, but also people with 3 4 years of experience. So people came in, people were quite excited about the program, and we could choose over 60 students. We admitted over 60 students to our first batch, and it is the first batch is successfully running. And initially, we had online classes because of the pandemic. But right now, everyone is in Chennai and we are having our offline classes. And the students are being supported by faculty. We have a great number of faculty from different parts of the world actually. There are faculties from abroad and also from academia as well as the industry. There are people from law firms. There are people from corporate houses who come in as faculties in the program. And Daksha, if I'm to tell you, is a very intensive 1 year program where we not only teach law but also policy and business for the digital world. So basically, we prepare students to face this digital age which we are going through, and let us understand it how. Um, okay. So basically, at present, we see that there has been a lot of legal and policy changes all around us. And if we look around, our laws have not evolved as quickly as the surroundings. I mean, in last 10 years, we see, coming in of different technology players across India, be it Spotify, Swiggy, Uber, Zomato, TikTok. But the problem is that when the technology advances, a lot of questions come in about how to regulate these technologies. What happens if there's a dispute in regard to the end user and this technological platform? So in such situations, lawyers are often not equipped to face such scenarios, and because the law school does not train us in that way to face such situations. So I mean, when Zoom cars first came to India, the concept of self-driving car was not so popular in the country, and we did not have enough regulations to it. In fact, many of the states could not allow Zoom cars to fly in their own states because they did not know how to regulate Zoom cars if they would come under commercial vehicles, since the concept of self-driving was not a part of the regulation. So, so lawyers had to find a way around it and help Zoom car to operate. But when this happened, uh, in India, a lot of lawyers were not equipped to face this scenario. And similar thing happened when Swiggy and Uber came in. The government regulations around the operations of these companies were not clear. I mean, when we had the concept of cloud kitchens coming in, the food and safety regulations did not cover many of these things. So this is where smart lawyers had to make things clear and ensure smooth operations for the clients. But as I already said, that to tackle such situations, law school does not prepare us. It only teaches us the basics of law and does not go deep into the regulatory space. I mean, how many of you guys have studied something like drone regulations in law school? If you have not, then tomorrow, if there is a case coming up in front of you about drone regulations, you will not be equipped. I myself never read drone regulations before at law school, but now, I mean, I had to prepare myself through my work to learn about these things. So therefore, at Daksha, what we are trying to do is teach these latest trends in regulatory and policy space, so that young lawyers in India are up to date to face the digital age. And coming to the difference between an LLM and a fellowship, that is Daksha. At Daksha, we update our syllabus each year. In fact, our syllabus itself is very flexible. If tomorrow there's a new legal thing which is happening or something new in the legal world, we try to put it in, we try to accommodate it, we try to bring in the expert who is well equipped to handle such a situation and teach the student about these new happenings. And also, LLM curriculum is very conventional. Let me give you my own example. I mean, what I studied in LLM, my professor from law school 10 years back studied the same thing in his LLM course. And these things have almost remained the same. And there is barely any drastic changes in the curriculum. So here you see in Daksha, we have a very contemporary curriculum, and we have courses on drones, artificial intelligence, cryptocurrency, automated vehicles, online dispute resolution. You name it, we have it. And in case we don't have a course, we supplement it through something we call a boot camp, which is like intensive. It's more like an intensive course for a week or even 3 days, where students go through numerous activities. And I'll come into the details of what a boot camp is. And also, our students are engaged in a lot of collaborative work, and we strongly emphasize on collaboration. At present, we have our Daksha conclave going on. My colleague Naveen is here. If Naveen, you can share the link to Daksha conclave. It's actually going on, and tomorrow also we have sessions. So yesterday at Daksha conclave, students presented in a lot of things on cryptocurrency, on 5G. So the panel on 5G was really exciting. We had partners from some of the top law firms in India who were in the panel. The students presented before them. And in fact, on telecom regulations, the instructor himself is a partner of a top law firm in India at Daksha. So these young students right out of law school got this opportunity to present on 5G, regulations on 5G, what problems will come in, regulatory problems will come in when 5G is launched in India. All these ideas before the top professionals in the country in the field of law. And they have a direct interaction with those law firm partners. And this gives them access, this gives them the confidence to present their work before the top minds in the country. And this is how it is different from a LLM, where I do not remember myself having such opportunities in my LLM course, or nowhere in India you get such opportunities. And also, activities like these prepare them for their work and also help them advance in their career, because if we see that they go for a 8 week long internship, and when they have events like this, it prepares them for their internship and connects them very easily to these law firms. Because next, when they apply for internships in the law firms will easily recognize them because of the conclave and would be happy to take them. And giving you a snapshot of the program, it's a 1 year residential program in Chennai. And we have a 8 week long internship break. The selection process is through entrance test and personal evaluation. And the learning pedagogic innovation is through collaborative learning and digital classroom. We have a faculty pool of reputed academics and industry experts. And it is also the first fellowship for lawyers in India to accelerate their career. So next, coming to our founder and Chancellor of Sai University, Mr. K.V. Ramani. He's a very well-known technocrat in South India. He has founded several telecom and software companies. And he gives, since he understands the industry so well and the gaps in the industry, so he was very supportive of the idea to have a fellowship for lawyers in this country, so that the gaps which lawyers face, the shortcomings which the lawyers face, can be fulfilled through this 1 year rigorous course. And once they reach their workplaces, they feel at ease while they face any kind of work. Here are our advisors. It includes Dr. Pramath Sinha, who is also the founding dean of Indian School of Business and also one of the founders of Young India Fellowship and Ashoka University. Professor Jamshed Barucha, who's the Vice Chancellor of Sai University. Justice M.N. Venkatachalaya. We have N.R. Narayana Murthy, co-founder and former chairperson of Infosys. Sriram Panchu, senior advocate of Madras High Court, is also a part of our advisors. We have Ashank Desai and Savita Mahajan. Among others, we also have Mohandas Pai, Dr. Anil Kakotkar, Sriram Balasubramaniam, who was also director of ICICI Bank and former managing director of State Bank of India. we have Miss Sunita Reddy, who's the managing director of Apollo Hospitals. And also among our academic advisors, we have Arvind Datar, who's a very well-known senior advocate in Madras High Court, Justice B.N. Sri Krishna, Behram Vakil, who's a co-founder of AZB and Partners, and Dr. Madhav Khosla, who's a visiting associate professor at Columbia Law School. He also teaches foundations of public law and a few other courses at Daksha Fellowship. We have Dr. Vikramaditya Khanna, who's a professor at University of Michigan Law School. Then Sriram Panchu is there. So all these people have, from different parts of the industry, have come together for the fellowship. So they themselves had seen that the industry has a lot of gaps because of the existing curriculum and everything, and they felt this need to have Daksha Fellowship so that lawyers can be trained to be job ready. Like when I had my first job, I worked for CPR. At that point of time, the kind of work that came to me, it was mostly policy related work, public policy. And law school did not prepare me well for public policy. And at that point of time, it was initially. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm so sorry, Abhishek.
No, that's all right.
Guys, please make sure that all of you are on mute so that there's no disturbance to the webinar. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. So initially, it got pretty difficult for me to cope up. At that point of time, I wish that I had something where I could learn public policy. Then it would be far easier for me to be there. And a lot of students today in law schools want to go into the public policy space, but law school does not teach what public policy is. If you ask any fourth or fifth year student in a law school, most of them won't be even able to answer what is the meaning of public policy. So in order to address these issues, all these people came together to have Daksha Fellowship formed. And coming to the faculty members, we have our dean, Dr. Anand Padmanabhan, who's a LLM and a PhD from Pennsylvania Law School at University of Philadelphia, and also a BLLB from NLS Bangalore. Then we have Anirudh Burman, we have Anirudh Krishnan, who's a well-known mediator, and Chitra Narayan, who's again a very well-known mediator. Then we have Eric Miller, Karthik Sundaram, Madhav Khosla, Mahesh Menon, Malavika Raghavan, who's also very well-known in the technology space, and Nikhil Narendran, who's a partner at Trilegal. NS Napinai, we have Raisa Vakil, Sahil Deo teaches public policy, data and decisions. He runs a public policy firm in India, then consultancy firm as well. We have Saman Subramaniam, who's a very well-known journalist and writes for The Guardian and a lot of leading dailies across the world. We have Mr. Siddharth Vedula, who was with J. Sagar Associates previously, Sudhir Ravindran and Surit Parthasarathi. So this is the group of faculties we have from across the country, from different sectors, who have come in with their experiences and the things they themselves have faced, and to train the students. So it's a very exciting atmosphere here, and each one brings in their own viewpoints for the students. And I mean, it's very lively. If you guys join the Daksha Conclave, which is going on, you guys will see how life at Daksha actually looks like. So coming ahead to career paths after Daksha. So basically, we have a lot of options, lot of career paths which a fellow can go for after the fellowship, which includes legal advisory, regulatory practice, dispute resolution, corporate transaction, business and policy consulting, research and teaching. So let me give you an example. So basically, I teach environmental regulations, And environmental regulations is a step beyond environmental law, which is taught in law schools. So we delve deep into the aspects of environmental law, and we prepare our students for legal advisory and regulatory practice. Let me tell you how. So a lot of you must be in law school and you have gone through the Water Act 1974. Section 25 of Water Act, basically, if you have gone through it, speaks about consent. But a lot of us do not know about what consent is in terms of industry and pollution control. But any industry in India, if it has to establish itself or operate, has to acquire a consent from the Pollution Control Board before even establishing itself or operating. So so I teach these students the entire procedure and process of getting a consent. So tomorrow, if any industry or company comes to them for legal advice or on regulations of how to set up an industry in India. Suppose tomorrow a foreign company comes and wants to uh, establish any kind of an industry in India, suppose a mobile phone manufacturing. It has to know the processes through which it has to go in, and these students are now equipped to understand the entire procedure and process of consent. And even I did not learn the concept of consent of establishing industries in law school. I learned it while working for European Union myself, where I had to go through this entire procedure and process of consent for my clients. So this is how we are bringing in our own experience into the teaching and preparing our students for the different career paths which will follow after their 1 year long term at Daksha. And moving ahead, so basically in Daksha, we follow a three pillar approach, what we call a three pillar approach. So, first is the knowledge pillar, where we give certain foundational courses like foundations in public law, foundations in private law, data and decision making, research methods, and also we go into certain non law subjects like finance for lawyers, accounting for lawyers, so that they are prepared not only in law but also in the field of business. Because lawyers nowadays, when they go out into the market, it's not just law they have to deal with. There are a lot of business transactions that they need to deal with in their everyday life, especially if you are working in a law firm. Then we have the expertise pillar, where we basically offer two specialized pathways. One is technology, law, and policy, and the other is regulation and dispute resolution. And finally, we have a skill set pillar, where we teach different things like communication, leadership. We teach them legal storytelling, critical thinking, data proficiency, and all these things. So basically, we try to give them all possible skills that a lawyer requires while going into the uh, field of practice, or maybe in a law firm or in a company as a corporate counsel. And coming to internship and career, we offer a eight week long internship program with law firms, consulting firms, technology or business firms, think tanks, and not for profits. We also have a dedicated placement cell, which helps students for applying to different law firms and all these consulting firms and corporate offices. Apart from that, we have boot camps, which are intensive practical learning programs. We have boot camps on mediation, boot camps on coding, gaming laws, public policy, and other such new subjects, which are hosted by industry practitioners and think tanks. This is where students work in teams and go through collaborative learning. We have a very hybrid model of learning, where we teach theory and also practical aspects. So basically, today in my environmental regulation part, I'll tell you, if I teach the theory, there will be someone from the industry, say a law firm, to supplement it with the practical knowledge. And this is how our hybrid system works. And a lot of our faculties are from abroad, so they also now, since this has been facilitated by the pandemic, that online classes are available, some of them are also conduct their classes online. So this hybrid learning method is followed. And we also have a communications lab where uh, students are helped with their speech, writing, and presentation skills. And they are trained in legal policy and journalistic writing. We had a journalism boot camp where Saman Subramaniam, who's a well-known journalist, came in and taught students the basics of journalism, how to write new things. And I myself am a regular columnist for a lot of these online portals and newspapers. So even I train many of the students personally how to write new things on new ideas in the legal arena. Then we also have the work and well-being lab, which is a very unique kind, which is actually one of first of its kind in India. So basically, in India, we do not have anything related to well-being and mental wellness for lawyers especially. In US, the American Bar Association has programs where they help lawyers cope up with their regular issues of mental well-being and other problems, but we do not have it. But in India, the legal, profession is such that there's a lot of anxiety, stress, and frustrations which young lawyers face because of overwork, low pay. There are a lot of issues which they face, but they are not equipped to face such situations. So we came up with this unique idea of having a work and well-being lab where we have sessions on mindfulness and self-improvement by different psychologists and experts in the field. We have components like critical thinking, where students are taught how to critically analyze a situation, how to ask questions, how to understand a situation better, how to make better decisions. And we have courses on personal finance management, when you start earning, when you earn, and how do you budget your money, where to invest, how to invest, all these basic things which we think are easy, but when you reach that stage you realize that no one taught us these things, right, ever. So these are certain small things where we focus that they never have a problem when they go out of this fellowship itself. Then we teach components like leadership. And also another thing which actually the director of World Storytelling Institute, Mr. Eric Miller, he teaches us something called storytelling. So where lawyers are taught how to, you know, turn their briefs into well knit stories so that it's actually interesting for the listener to listen and it's more convincing. And so storytelling is also an important component of the work and well-being lab. And we have various other things happening under the work and well-being lab which enhances the mindfulness and well-being of the students. And coming to why I joined Daksha, because it's a powerful blend of legal and non-legal skills, and networks and communities that pursue excellence, revitalizes career opportunities, and faculty that inspires and leads. And coming to the basics structures of what the syllabus looks like. So in the knowledge pillar, we basically, which is in the first trimester, we have these subjects which are fundamentals of public law, fundamentals of private law, public policy, finance and accounting for lawyers, workshop for on MS Excel and MS PowerPoint, research methods and foundations of data and statistics. This is our knowledge pillar. Then coming to the expertise pillar, so this is the core of the Daksha Fellowship program. So there are two expertise pillar: technology, law and policy, and disputes and regulatory practice. In technology, law and policy, we have data protection, media law, emerging technologies, and legal tech, where we have things like cryptocurrency and artificial intelligence and any latest happenings in the field of technology, law, and policy. We have telecom law and regulatory architecture. We have competition law, taxation and digital economy, Information Technology Act and cyber crimes, intellectual property rights in digital age, M&A and investment and transactions in technology sector. Then the next we have disputes and regulatory practice, where we have foundations of dispute resolution, procedure and evidence, remedies, the regulatory state, corporate governance, competition law, and M&A. And it has three specialized clusters which one can choose, which includes advanced course in dispute resolution, infrastructure and sustainability cluster, corporate and financial cluster. So if you choose the dispute and regulatory practice track, you have a choice of choosing one of these three specialized clusters. And coming to the skills part of Daksha, we have boot camps on things like legal tech and coding, negotiations, real estate, regulations of emerging technologies, finance, accounting. And communication lab, we have legal drafting, contract drafting, fundamentals of writing, speech and expression. And as I already said, work and well-being lab, we have things like mindfulness, minimalism, personal finance management, critical thinking, and storytelling. So these are the skills pillar. So who can join Daksha, who's eligible? So basically anyone who has a recognized bachelor's degree in law or an equivalent foreign degree, and also students pursuing in their final year of law school may apply for Daksha with their mark sheets and a letter of from the institution specifying the expected date of graduation. And how do we assess the candidates? So we do it through a combination of their academic record and work record, and also through personal statements and essays. And there is also something we call the Daksha Fellowship Admissions Test, the DFAT test, which is very much like your CLAT exam. It's the curriculum is very similar, basics of law, and it happens online. We might also, if things get all right, might later on go offline for the test, but right now it's happening online. Then we also choose candidates from their score in LSAT India and CLAT PG. And after this entire process, we follow a personal interview, after which the candidate gets admitted. So our first round of application closed on 31st January. The second round closes on 31st March, and the third round closes on June 15th. So I would request you all to, if you guys are interested in applying, you could apply at the earliest, so that so that we do not run out of seats and you get the benefits of applying initially. And moving ahead, uh, what DFAT test looks like. It's a 2-hour proctored exam. We have a total 60 questions of law and non-law components. The legal section, we have legal knowledge and legal application. Non-law, we have verbal, quantitative, logical reasoning. And the test link will be emailed after submission of application. Webcam is necessary for proctoring. And later on, we have interview over Google Meet with 2-member team from the faculty and the admissions team, which is an online interview. This is the fee structure and financial aid. There would be some scholarships and financial aid on merit cum means basis. This is the tuition, housing, and admission fees. Going ahead, the city of Chennai is, even I'm new in Chennai, it's a very warm, hospitable city, lovely people. And the place is very close to the beach, amazing place. And a lot of new things in the field of technology is happening here. A lot of tech companies are here. A lot of top law firms are here. It's one of the best places to work and study in. And these are some of the students of this year and something they have to say on Daksha. And followed by this, if you can reach out to the outreach at Daksha Fellowship, and also this is the phone number you can reach out to. And yeah, if there's any questions, please do let me know.
Thank you so much, Abhishek. That was actually very informative. In fact, um, I just wanted to pick up a few points which I really liked about Daksha. But before that, if anybody has any kind of doubts, please, this is the time to ask Abhishek. He is here to clarify your doubts about Daksha Fellowship. Um, One very important point which you've raised and which is very evident in how Daksha works is that law schools don't take care of the practical aspects of one application of theory, and second the holistic development of the personality of a law student, which is
Right.
very important. Like for example, your well-being, your focus on well-being, on mindfulness, all of these are, although very very ignored topics, but they
Mhm.
nevertheless help in holistic development, for you to become a very complete human, complete lawyer.
Right.
So I really liked what all Daksha is focusing on. If anybody has any kind of doubts, please go ahead. In the meantime, I'm just going to share something with all of you. Yeah, we have on our website on memopundits.com, we do have a special discount only for the students who have joined us today. This discount is only valid for the next 2 hours. The discount coupon code is web200. Just apply it on any of the courses which are available on the website. I'm just going to send you the link of the website. Yeah, and you can go ahead and purchase any course. This is only valid for the next 2 hours. Yes, just a second. Yeah. Do we have any questions? I think although that it was a very self-explanatory presentation, but in case anybody has any questions, in fact, there's just one question which I have,
Yeah,
to
sure.
ask you, Abhishek.
Yeah,
In the eligibility criteria, I think I saw that you can also apply if you're a final year law student.
right.
So so is this applicable both for 3-year LLB and 5-year LLB?
Yes, it is applicable for both. It's just that you
Okay,
have to graduate this year, and
got it.
yeah.
Got it. And just one more question for LLM candidates. How
Mhm.
useful, if somebody has already done an LLM, how useful would this fellowship be if somebody has already completed a 1 or 2 year LLM?
It is useful. I mean, even in LLM is basically you choose a subject. Suppose I did my LLM in environmental law. I go deep into the law and jurisprudential part of it,
Hmm,
mostly the
hmm, hmm,
research part of it. But the
hmm.
applicability part is not taught.
True.
I mean, if
That's very true.
a lot of actually many of my classmates also joined the program,
Okay, okay.
right?
Got
Yeah.
it, got it.
So there are a lot of people with LLM in our program itself.
Got it. Sorry, am I right that there's some global immersion opportunity which is available at Daksha? Something.
Global immersion actually you can contact the admissions team better because this year because of the pandemic it has been
Okay.
a problematic thing.
Okay.
Otherwise, it
Okay.
was planned, but now, depending, many countries have not opened up their borders for the students,
Got it.
so for any people to come in. So that has been something in question. But yes, if anyone has a doubt
Hmm.
on that, they can definitely contact us, and I can confirm on
Brilliant.
that and get back to you.
Abhishek, would it be possible for you to just type the number of the person who the students can contact in the chat
Yeah,
box?
sure. Just
And one last question which I had from my end is, what is the kind of what are the kind of jobs which you're looking at when you pass out of the fellowship? Just a
So jobs basically it depends on their internships and their interests. Like this batch, a lot of people are interested in going into think tanks. A lot
second.
of
Okay.
people are interested in getting into law firms and
Hmm.
corporate houses.
Okay.
So they are, applying for internships in these organizations and firms and companies.
Got it.
So depending on their interest, and that's how we keep it very open.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Got it. Got it. All right. I think that's about it. I hope that the students who have, and the lawyers who have joined us today
Mhm.
would actually make use of this opportunity, because I think this is something which is totally new, totally unique. It's like a modern institution which is trying to give you everything which is required of a holistic, a complete lawyer. So if you want to read more about it, please go to their website, and you can probably get more details out there. In fact, we are also going to upload this recording on YouTube. So if ever you want to revisit whatever was told in this presentation, please visit our YouTube channel, and there you can see the entire session.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Abhishek, for your time. It was a lovely session, very informative, and I hope you and the students actually benefit out of the session.
Thank you so much for giving us this platform and opportunity to connect to your students. It's amazing. Yeah.
Okay.
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 Thanks
Thank
a
you.
lot, Abhishek.
Great day.
Thank you.